It was, well, this is back in the days, but it was about 3,500 then. The only other examples, one is in a museum in New York and one is in a museum in Southampton, and this one is in a private collection.
Wow, absolutely fascinating stuff. So you've moved on from that and you're now what you call an art broker. I mean, obviously you sell art, but can you maybe explain a little bit about that to our listeners, what it involves?
Well, the art broker it seems a bit astray, really, but art broker was to introduce A and B. So someone's got a painting, somebody wants a painting, match the two people up, and that's how I'd make my money, by that introduction fee. Then it turns out that I've met a few artists, such as Ian Thompson, who you're going to talk to in a moment, in first person. Met him in a pub, as a lot of good stories start, and with a really promising talent, but maybe a little bit of lack of confidence or direction, and we just got chatting, and it's ended up that I think I'm representing and helping artists more than introducing and making easy money.
So yeah, more than being an art broker, you're a bit like an agent. Perhaps.
A bit more so, yeah.
A bit more so, yeah. Okay, so have you always had a love of art?
Yes, I have actually. In all fairness, I was more ceramics and furniture, but I've always been surrounded by art, and I've always liked art, and I've always wanted to be an artist, but everything that went on in my head didn't really translate to paper, unfortunately. So it's great to be surrounded by people that can take that vision and make it something really beautiful that other people can understand. So
why is it in particular now that you want to move on from just selling the art and helping the artists? What do you get out of it?
Not a lot. Turns out. No. Because I think that because of all the different places I've worked in contemporary galleries, I've seen that a lot of artists don't get a good deal. They often they work for galleries, they give galleries a lot of money, and some galleries are phenomenal. But on the whole, there's a lot of galleries that will just fill a bit of wall space and will build up the hopes and expectations of artists, and they don't put the work in. And I felt there were a lot of artists out there who do need a bit of support, a little bit of help, a little bit of nurturing, and then being able to sell not only for money, but also for that confidence. And that's why I've accidentally ended up doing this.
Well, so often, as I found working in the music business for many, many years, that somebody who can be so artistically talented isn't necessarily very good at promoting themselves. So hence the need for somebody such as yourself.
Yes, perhaps. I mean, I'd ask those guys, they might be saying something different in the corner.
We're going to send you out the room and we're going to get the real juicy gossip. When we last spoke, you were working on brokering a Banksy.
I am indeed at the moment. So
yeah, how's that going and how did it develop and is it a painting? Tell us a bit about it.
So it's a signed print, which is a CND soldiers, which I think people have seen with the kind of the CND sign and the two soldiers painting it with red paint. That was going well, and I had a few offers in, and I've just got another offer in yesterday who's upped it a bit more. So we're just working out the bank transfer from Belgium.
Wow. And can we ask how much it's going to go for?
13,000.
13,000. And this, listeners, by the way, isn't a real painting of Banksy's. This is a print.
It is a print, yes.
And it's been signed by him. If it hadn't have been signed, what would it have been worth?
It's just, some people pay hundreds for them, but it's okay. Not a lot of money. The difference is massive, considering originally you would have bought an unsigned one for about between £50 and £70. But if you'd had £150, you could have bought the signed one.
Yeah,
and some people stretched and did it because they loved it and wanted that little bit extra, and the reward has been quite.
So what if you had an original Banksy? What would that be worth?
There aren't so many original Banksys per se, because obviously he did a few pieces on canvas, but on the whole it's been pieces on walls, and then they don't authenticate something that's been done as a piece of graffiti. So It's whether you can actually guaranteed say it is a Banksy.
Yeah, well, I've heard stories of people selling their walls. That,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, selling part of the houses, chipping things off, yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Well, I know someone who painted over a whole series of Banksys.
Pardon?
So my brother works for, I won't disclose where it is, but there's a place in London where he works, and Banksy was working on a film with them, and he went a bit righteous during the night and just painted everywhere. And one of the pieces is still left. It's brilliant. It's a soldier with the Busby hat. But the rest of it, he did the lifts, he did the windows, he did the whole lot. And the owner of the building came in the morning and went, someone needs to paint over this. And they tried to convince him not. But underneath a layer of paint, probably millions of pounds worth of art.
Where is this?
In central London, Wardour Street.
Goodness me, he must be spitting now.
Well, they kept one and it's beautiful, and they've now put it behind Perspex.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that's what happened to one that was painted on the side of a house, because they were talking about taking the house down and selling it. And it's just like...
Well, Cheltenham, they've now taken the wall, haven't they?
Have they?
Yeah, well, it got graffitied over, and then it got all the dispute of who owned it and who wanted it, the GCHQ one. And I think last time I saw, they've actually just chopped the wall down.
I'm speechless. But there we go. Good old Banksy, bringing money to the masses, or, you know, and he did a great thing as well when he got an old man to sell his prints in New York. You know, nobody knew who they were, and so basically, if you did buy one, and because you liked it.
I thought it was brilliant, especially the woman who bought one for her 2 grandchildren. So she bought one for each of their bedrooms, and another man who bought a whole load, and he haggled them as well. So he haggled a load of Banksies and took them away in a plastic bag.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I could talk to you all day about all your different ventures, but strictly speaking, we're here today to talk about an art exhibition that opened yesterday. Is that right?
It did. It opened last night, which was our vernissage, which was our slight kind of preview opening night. It's been running today, and it's running tomorrow, Saturday, from 9 till 1, and again on Sunday from 11 till 3, which corresponds also with the wedding fair.
Oh, okay, very nice. Now, the venue, King's Weston House, I didn't even know it existed until recently. What a beautiful... I mean, it's a stately home, yeah?
It is a stately home, yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. Where is it?
So it's in King's Weston. So if people don't know that, it's West Bristol and towards Avonmouth. So you can see it from the motorway. If you're going down the M5, you'll look up and you'll see this massive building with kind of Cotswoldy colouring with really unusual chimneys on top.
So heading on the M5 going where?
So if you're heading, when you get the choice of going off to Weston-super-Mare and the choice of going back onto Bristol, you'll see it up on the right in the trees.
Oh, I must keep my eye out for that. That's down my neck of the woods. So you have chosen to feature 2 artists on this exhibition, and can you just tell me a little bit about them before we meet them?
Okay, so we've got Ian Thompson, who's grinning at me across the studio now. So Ian Thompson is obviously Bristol-based. We put this down to, we call him painterly realism, really. So some pieces are very realist and photographic. Some pieces are looser, but he does also